Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for standing by. Welcome to Alibaba Group's June quarter 2024 results conference call. At this time, all participants are on listen-only mode. After management's prepared remarks, there will be a Q&A session. I would now like to turn the call over to Rob Lin, Head of Investor Relations of Alibaba Group. Please go ahead.
Good day, everyone, and welcome to Alibaba Group's June quarter 2024 results conference call. With us are Joe Tsai, Chairman; Eddie Wu, Chief Executive Officer; Toby Xu, Chief Financial Officer. We have also invited Jiang Fan, Co-Chairman and CEO of Alibaba International Digital Commerce Group, to join the call. This call is also being webcasted from the Investor Relations section of our corporate website. A replay of the call will be available on our website later today. Now, let me quickly cover the safe harbor. Today's discussion may contain forward-looking statements, including without limitation statements about our strategies and business plans, as well as our belief, expectation, and guidance about our business prospects, such as the future growth of our business, revenue, take rate, profitability, and return on investments and share repurchases. Forward-looking statements involve inherent risks and uncertainties that may cause actual results to differ materially from our expectations. For detailed discussion of these risks and uncertainties, please refer to our latest annual report on Form 20-F and other documents filed with the U.S. SEC or announced on the website of Hong Kong Stock Exchange. Any forward-looking statements that we make on this call are based on assumptions as of today, and we do not undertake any obligation to update these statements except as required under applicable law. Please note that certain financial measures that we use on the call, such as adjusted EBITDA, adjusted EBITDA margin, adjusted EBITDA margin, non-GAAP net income, non-GAAP diluted earnings per share or ADS, and free cash flow, are expressed on a non-GAAP basis. Our GAAP results and reconciliation of GAAP to non-GAAP measures can be found in our earnings press release. Unless otherwise stated, growth rates of all stated metrics mentioned during this call refers to year-over-year growth versus the same quarter last year. With that, I will turn over to Eddie.
Hello, everyone. In the new fiscal year, our strategies of user-first and AI-driven are starting to bear fruit. This quarter's results reflect continued steady growth momentum. Taobao and Tmall Group achieved steady year-over-year growth in orders and in GMV. Alibaba International Digital Commerce (AIDC) revenue maintained strong growth. Alibaba Cloud's revenue, excluding Alibaba consolidated subsidiaries, returned to positive growth, notably driven by core public cloud and AI products, and across other segments, we achieved better operational efficiency and monetization capabilities to varying degrees. This drove significant improvement in some loss-making businesses. Taobao and Tmall Group maintained its user-first strategy and continued to invest in key capabilities, aiming to deliver quality products and services at attractive prices across diverse shopping needs of consumers. This quarter saw steady growth in GMV and order volume, driven by a notable increase in purchase frequency. Internal and external data about e-commerce players' market share dynamics indicates a positive trend in our gradual market share stabilization, further validating the effectiveness of our investments in user experience. 88 VIP members reached 42 million by quarter end. We will continue to explore and improve program benefits, product offerings, and service experiences for this expanding premium member base. In TTG's operational strategy, we attach great importance to rich and diverse product offerings while focusing on investing in enhancing shopping experiences. We continuously improve the efficiency and matching of products with user traffic and ensure stable and sustainable growth. As orders and GMV continue to grow, we're advancing monetization step by step, including the launch of our new marketing tool, Quanzhan Tui, Through algorithm upgrades, we aim to enhance the efficiency of merchants' monetization while also improving the efficiency of traffic utilization and conversion of user traffic to purchases on our platform. We expect CMR growth to gradually align with GMV growth over the coming quarters. In our cloud segment, we continue to pursue high-quality revenue and effectively execute our integrated cloud plus AI development strategy. This quarter, Alibaba's overall revenue, excluding Alibaba consolidated subsidiaries, grew 6%, with public cloud revenue maintaining double-digit growth. AI-related product revenue sustained triple-digit growth, continuing to increase its share of public cloud revenue. We're seeing more major customers choosing Alibaba Cloud as their compute infrastructure for AI development. At the same time, Alibaba's proprietary large language models are gaining wider adoption. This year, Alibaba Cloud served as a major cloud service provider for the Olympic Games, providing cloud computing and AI services to Olympic Broadcasting Services, OBS. At the Paris Olympics, cloud-based live broadcast powered by Alibaba Cloud overtook satellite signals as the primary means of broadcast for the first time in Olympic history. Two-thirds of broadcasters used live signals transmitted by Alibaba Cloud in real time around the world, reaching billions of viewers. Additionally, Alibaba Cloud's AI technology saw its first widespread application at the Paris Olympics, including 360-degree replays in real time, bringing pleasant surprises to the audience. Our long-term strategy for integrated cloud plus AI development comprises three key elements. One, we'll continue to optimize our cloud product offerings, focusing on competitive, sustainable gross margin and scalable public cloud products. This forms the foundation for Alibaba Cloud's sustainable high-quality growth. Two, we'll strengthen synergies between cloud and AI products, not only supporting existing customers in implementing new AI capabilities on Alibaba Cloud, but also enabling AI-native enterprises to scale and succeed on our platform. We're committed to capitalizing on both opportunities. Three, we'll continue to invest in R&D and AI CapEx to ensure the growth of our AI-driven cloud business. Looking to the medium and long term, we're confident that Alibaba Cloud's overall revenue, excluding Alibaba consolidated subsidiaries, will return to double-digit growth in the second half of the fiscal year with gradual acceleration thereafter. Through intensive R&D investment, we aim to sustain profitable growth while establishing ourselves as a leading cloud service provider for AI with healthy profitability and market share leadership. In international e-commerce, AIDC delivered 32% revenue growth this quarter. Our international business segment comprises a diverse business matrix, integrating both cross-border and local operations, as well as B2B and B2C formats. This presents numerous opportunities in terms of both operational models and market expansion potential, and Jiangfan will provide a more detailed update momentarily. Beyond e-commerce and cloud, we've implemented strategic realignments across our key internet technology businesses through a thorough evaluation of their product capabilities and market competitiveness. While maintaining product competitiveness, most of these businesses will now place a higher priority on monetization. This quarter, we've already seen these businesses significantly improving profitability, and we expect this trend to continue in the coming quarters. We expect most of these businesses to break even within 1 to 2 years and gradually contribute to profitability at scale. This new fiscal year is a pivotal one for Alibaba as we set our strategic direction and realize the successes of our transformation. We are fully confident in Alibaba's sustained healthy development into the future. Hi, everybody. It's my pleasure to share with you AIDC's latest business progress. Over the past quarter, AIDC maintained its rapid growth momentum with overall revenue increasing 32% year-on-year, primarily driven by our cross-border business. In terms of the three drivers we consistently focus on, first, ongoing business model and supply chain upgrades, AliExpress maintained rapid year-on-year order growth with the percentage of AE Choice orders continuing to be high and gradually stabilizing, and enhancing the certainty and consistency of user experience. AliExpress and Cainiao continue to jointly optimize logistics experience and significantly reduced average delivery time quarter over quarter. We further optimized the organic balance of user experience, product richness, and efficiency across our marketplace, semi-consignment, and full consignment models. the unit economics of the choice business improved by nearly 20% quarter-over-quarter. Second, product and technology innovation. We advanced our AI and intelligent technologies across scenarios like AI customer service, cross-platform product placement, product description optimization, multilingual search, and precise recommendations, which boosted efficiency and user experience. These innovations were deployed across our platforms and have served around 500,000 merchants and covered 100 million SKUs. Third, sustained growth in key markets. Ongoing improvement in user experience bolsters AE's confidence to step up investments in key markets to expand user base and maintain leadership. As the exclusive e-commerce partner of the European Cup 2024, we effectively boosted AE and Trendyol's brand awareness. We're also exploring diverse localized business models. In Turkey, Trendyol increased monetization and profitability, solidifying its e-commerce leadership. It also enriched product offerings and marketing efficiency in the Gulf region while continuing in user growth. In Southeast Asia, Lazada achieved single-month EBITDA profitability for the first time in July. This milestone reinforces our confidence to efficiently invest in the Southeast Asia market to consolidate our market share. So, in conclusion, our strategic focus is twofold: enhancing operational efficiency across all business segments, while, on the other hand, actively investing in key markets to drive quality growth and scale, with the goal of achieving more substantial profitability at scale in the future. Thank you.
And this past quarter's financial performance continues to demonstrate our strategy to revitalize growth in our domestic commerce and cloud segments, while reinforcing our leadership position. At the same time, we are improving the monetization and operating efficiency of our loss-making businesses with the goal of achieving sustainable business growth and profitability. Taobao and Tmall Group is winning the mindshare of our consumers. This past quarter, we achieved high single-digit online GMV growth and double-digit order growth. AIDC continues to achieve robust revenue growth driven by rapid order growth in cross-border businesses, especially from AliExpress Choice. AliCloud's revenue quality is improving and back to growth. Overall revenue, excluding Alibaba consolidated subsidiaries, grew over 6%, driven by double-digit public cloud growth and increasing adoption of AI-related products. Our loss-making businesses are improving their monetization operating efficiency significantly. For example, Local Service Group and Lazada significantly narrowed their losses during the quarter. During this quarter, we repurchased a total of 613 million ordinary shares, or 77 million ADSs, for a total of $5.8 billion. This includes the concurrent buyback of approximately 14.8 million ADSs for $1.2 billion that was associated with our new CB issuance. As of June 30, 2024, we had 19 billion ordinary shares, or approximately 2.4 billion ADSs outstanding. Compared to March 31st, 2024, there was a 2.3% net reduction in our outstanding shares after accounting for shares issued on our ESOP. As of June 30, 2024, we still have $26.1 billion remaining in our share repurchase program. Additionally, as part of our plan to minimize annual ESOP dilution and better utilize the cash generated by our domestic businesses, we have started to replace a portion of Alibaba Group's ESOP incentives with long-term cash incentives for our employees, starting last quarter. These cash incentives will be reflected as costs in our adjusted financial matrix, including segment EBITDA. While this change in compensation structure will lower adjusted EBITDA, it will also result in less ESOP dilution in the future. Total revenue on a consolidated basis, total revenue was RMB 243.2 billion, an increase of 4%. Adjusted EBITDA decreased 1% year-over-year to RMB 45 billion. Excluding the effects of long-term cash incentive, adjusted EBITDA growth would have turned positive on a like-for-like basis. Our non-GAAP net income was RMB 40.7 billion, a decrease of 4.2 billion or 9%. Our GAAP net income was RMB 24 billion, a decline of 9 billion or 27%, primarily due to a decrease in income from operations and increase in impairment of some investments, partly offset by the mark-to-market changes from our equity investments. As of June 30, 2024, we continue to maintain a strong net cash position of RMB 405.7 billion or $55.8 billion. Free cash flow decreased by RMB 21.7 billion to RMB 17.4 billion. This year-over-year decrease mainly reflected the increase in expenditure related to our investments in Alibaba Cloud infrastructure and other working capital changes related to factors including our planned reduction of direct sales businesses. Now let's look at cost trends as a percentage of revenue excluding SBC during this quarter. Cost of revenue ratio decreased 1.1 percentage points. Product development expenses ratio remained relatively stable. Sales and marketing expenses ratio increased 1.7 percentage points year-over-year, primarily due to our increased investments in e-commerce businesses. G&A expenses ratio increased 1.4 percentage points. Excluding the provision of RMB 3.1 billion from a one-time shareholder class action lawsuit, our G&A expenses ratio would have remained relatively stable. Now let's look at the segment results, starting with Taobao and Tmall Group. Revenue from Taobao and Tmall Group was RMB 113.4 billion, a decrease of 1%. Revenue from our China commerce retail businesses was RMB 107.4 billion, a decrease of 2% compared to 109.8 billion in the same quarter of 2023. Customer management revenue increased by 1% year-over-year, primarily due to a high single-digit year-over-year growth in online GMV, partly offset by a decline in take rate. The year-over-year take rate decrease was primarily due to increasing proportion of GMV generated from new models that currently have lower monetization rates. Direct sales and others revenue under China commerce retail business was RMB 27.3 billion, a decrease of 9%. As mentioned, we are proactively scaling down certain direct sales businesses, including those in Taobao and Tmall Group. China commerce wholesale business revenue increased 16% to RMB 6 billion, primarily due to an increase in revenue from value-added services provided to paying members. Taobao and Tmall Group adjusted EBITDA decreased by 1% to RMB 48.8 billion, primarily due to the increase in investments in user experience and technology infrastructure, partly offset by the narrowing losses in certain businesses. This increase in investment led to better consumer retention, increased purchase frequency, and positive feedback regarding the overall shopping experience. Revenue from Cloud Intelligence Group was RMB 26.5 billion, an increase of 6%. Overall revenue, excluding Alibaba consolidated subsidiaries, grew over 6% year-over-year, driven by double-digit public cloud growth and increasing adoption of AI-related products. AI-related product revenue continued to grow at triple digits year-over-year. Cloud's adjusted EBITDA increased by 155% to RMB 2.3 billion. The increase was primarily due to improving product mix through our focus on public cloud adoption and operating efficiency, partly offset by the increasing investments in customers and technology. We're observing strong and sustained demand for AI products and solutions from our customers and are making significant investment to address this demand effectively. We believe our investments in AI capabilities and infrastructure will help strengthen our market leadership. We are confident in our ability to balance these investments with steady profitability improvements, ensuring sustainable growth and value creation. Revenue from international commerce retail business increased by 38% to RMB 23.7 billion, primarily driven by order growth from AliExpress's Choice, as well as improvements in monetization. Revenue from our international commerce wholesale business increased by 12% to RMB 5.6 billion, primarily due to an increase in revenue generated by cross-border related value-added services. AIDC's adjusted EBITDA was a loss of RMB 3.7 billion, an increase of RMB 3.3 billion compared to a loss of 420 million in the same quarter last year, primarily due to the increase in investments in AliExpress and Trendyol's cross-border businesses, partly offset by Lazada's significant reduction in operating loss from the improvements in its monetization and operating efficiency. Revenue from Cainiao Smart Logistics Network Limited was RMB 26.8 billion, an increase of 16%, primarily driven by the increase in revenue from cross-border fulfillment solutions. Cainiao's EBITDA decreased by 30% to RMB 618 million, primarily due to increased investments in cross-border fulfillment solutions, partly offset by improved operating efficiency. Revenue from local service group was RMB 16.2 billion, an increase of 12%, driven by the order growth of both AMAP and Ele.me, as well as revenue growth from marketing services. Adjusted EBITDA was a loss of RMB 386 million, compared to a loss of RMB 2 billion in the same quarter last year, primarily due to improving operating efficiency and increasing scale. Revenue from our digital media and entertainment group was RMB 5.6 billion, an increase of 4%. Adjusted EBITDA was a loss of 103 million, compared to a profit of RMB 63 million same quarter last year. Revenue from all other segments increased 3% to RMB 47 billion, primarily due to the increase in revenue from Freshippo, Alibaba Health, and Intelligent Information Platform, partly offset by the decrease in revenue from Lingxi Games and Sunart. Adjusted EBITDA from all other segments was a loss of RMB 1.3 billion, compared to a loss of RMB 1.7 billion in the same quarter of 2023, primarily due to improved operating results from Sunart, Freshippo, Alibaba Health, and the Lingxi Games, partly offset by the increased investment in technology businesses. To wrap up, as Eddie and Jiangfan mentioned, for our Taobao and Tmall group, as order and GMV grow, we are advancing monetization efforts step by step. We expect CMR growth to gradually align with GMV growth over the coming quarters. For Alibaba Cloud, we are pursuing high-quality revenue and effectively execute our integrated cloud plus AI development strategy. We are confident that revenue from external customers will return to double-digit growth in the second half of the fiscal year, with gradual acceleration thereafter. For AIDC, we focus on proactive investment to drive high-quality growth, enhancing operating efficiency across all business lines. Our loss-making businesses are improving their monetization and operating efficiency. We expect most of these businesses to break even within 1 to 2 years and gradually contribute to the profitability at scale. Thank you. That's the end of our prepared remarks. We can open up for Q&A.
Hi everyone. For today's call, you are welcome to ask questions in Chinese or English. A third-party translator will provide consecutive interpretation for the Q&A session. Please know that the translation is for convenience purpose only. In the case of any discrepancy, our management statement in the original language will prevail. If you are unable to hear the Chinese translation, bilingual transcripts of this call will be available on our website within 1 week after the meeting. 大家好，今天的电话会议欢迎您用中文或英文提问，我们会有第三方公证人员提供实时的交替传释。翻译的目的是为方便大家理解，如果有任何疑义，请以我们管理层原始语言所做的陈述为准。如您无法听到中文翻译，本次电话会议的双语记录将会在会议结束后的1周内在我们的官网上提供。Operator, we can now connect to the speaker and SI conference lines and then start a Q&A session. Thank you.
Thank you. We will now begin the question and answer session. If you wish to ask a question, please press the star key followed by the number 1 on your telephone keypad. To give more people the opportunity to ask questions, please keep yourself to no more than 1 question at a time. Your first question is from Ronald Kung from Goldman Sachs. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Joe, Eddie, Toby, Jianfen, and Rob. And I want to ask a question about our take rates that with the high single-digit GMV growth and 1% CMR growth, it does imply a wider gap this quarter. But management, you just mentioned about the narrowing gap that should come. So how should we think about the take rate trajectory, the time needed for CMR to align with GMV? And could you talk a bit on what are the actual measures that we're doing? Is it software service fee or ad tech upgrades? How would these new products translate to Taobao and Tmall respective take rates into the next few quarters? Thank you.
感谢管理层接受我的提问。我这个提问呢是关于 take rate 这一方面。因为这一季度我们看到其实是 GMV 的增速与 CMR 的增速这个差距还是进一步的扩大了。但是刚才你们是提到说在未来几个季度的话，这个差距应该可以缩小，两者可以更好的来同步起来。那可不可以介绍在现在和未来几个季度推出的一些新的软件产品会带来什么样的不同，可以让这两者的这个差距进一步的缩小？
这个问题我来回答一下吧。我觉得淘宝天猫我们现在的优先级是放在提升用户的购买体验，从而推动用户的购买频次，推动 GMV 的增长的这个过程中。那我们看到初步的市场份额稳定之后，确实在这个季度开始，我们针对提高 take rate 和商业化措施的一些原来的项目的进展会开始加速。那其实这里面有几个主要的因素。第一个因素是我们在很多新的产品形态，比如说直播，比如说我们的百亿补贴，像各类我们今年重点投入的新的产品形态上带来了很高的用户流程以及用户的复购。但这些新的产品和商家的变现以及商业化的这些产品是需要一定的时间去推动的。那这也是我们后面这个季度会去逐渐推动的这个过程。那第二个点，我们觉得还有重要的一个变化是我们的广告产品全站推广的逐渐开始加速。那全站推广其实是它要运行良好，它是需要不是只是一个简单的产品，它需要3方面的配合。也就是我们在所有的淘宝端内的所有用户端的流量渠道上进行一个比较有效的一个对接和接入。第二点是尤其是需要在广告主这一侧需要有足够的行业覆盖，以及支持全站推的商品需要有足够的广告数量，然后再结合可能需要是6个月以上的广告算法的优化和用户数据的优化。所以我们认为全站推的这些产品在我们4月份推出之后，会在推出之后的6到12个月内看到一些明显的效果和这个进展。但我们预测这一套刚才我提到的3个措施需要完美结合在一起的这样一个广告的一个系统，我们觉得可能是在这个产品推出的12个月之后，会逐渐的是一个整体这3方面都会是配合的比较完美的一个系统。 那另外一个变化，我们可能那个Toby可以提一下关于我们的那个技术服务费。好，那
Thank you. This is Eddie, and I'll take that first before handing over to Toby. In the Taobao and Tmall group, the priority at present very much has been on enhancing the user shopping experience so as to drive heightened purchase frequency and GMV. Now, as market share stabilizes, which is what we've certainly seen this quarter, we can start to accelerate the pace of our monetization efforts. But there are a few factors that you have to look at. First of all, the various new products we've launched, including live streaming and including the 10 billion yuan subsidy program, have resulted in high user return and return to platform and high user repurchase rates. But it's going to take a bit of time to roll out the new monetization approaches and products and for them to gain traction. But that's certainly what we're looking at doing over the coming few quarters. The second thing to look at is our new advertising product, Quanzhan Tui, that we're introducing. Of course, in order for this to achieve solid performance, you need more than just that product in place. You need effective coordination and synergy across three different pieces. The first being user traffic on the Taobao platform. The second being having sufficient number of advertisers taking part across a sufficient number of different sectors with sufficient coverage of different kinds of products. And then beyond that, it'll take, say, 6 or more months to fully optimize the algorithms and also to optimize the user data. So starting from the rollout of Quanzhan Tui back in April, it's likely to take something like 6 to 12 months of work to bring all of those different things together to achieve really solid progress and sizable growth. So in short, for those three different things to come together and for this all to really be working well, likely looking at something like 12 months from the initial launch date. And then to that, I'll hand over to Toby to also say a few words about technology service charge.
好的，那我很快介绍一下关于这个技术服务费啊，因为之前大家可能也看到了，我们这个计划在9月份开始对在淘宝跟闲鱼的商家征收一个技术服务费1600的这样一个基础的软件服务费。那这部分的征收是按照一个这个商家的确收 GMV 来征收的。那这个收费比例呢，我们会在全面考量行业惯例，并采纳商家的一些反馈后开始实施。那目前的预计是9月份。那么这个征收的我们也同时会充分考量中小商家的情况，所以对于年度 GMV 低于一定这个金额的中小商家，我们会全额退还他们的年度服务费，或者提供一定额助，帮他们在淘宝平台上拓展客户群，增加他们的 GMV。那我们预计这个服务费的收取将会在这个财年的剩下来，就9月之后的这个7个月内逐步的开始贡献收入啊，这是一个对这个服务费的一个介绍。
Yes, this is Toby. Just to add regarding the technology service charge that we started talking about charging as of September on Taobao and on Idlefish at a rate of 0.6%. And that is to be calculated on the basis of actually received GMV, actually received by the merchants. And we've come to this decision in consideration of both prevailing market practice as well as opinion of our merchants, feedback from our merchants. Of course, we will have special measures to take good care of our SME merchants in particular. Those whose actual annual GMV is below a certain threshold can either have that refunded or will find other ways to provide assistance to them to expand their customer base and grow their GMV to that threshold. So I would expect that with this starting as of September, you can expect to see this making a difference in the financials over, say, the next 7 months of this present fiscal year.
Next question, please.
The next question is from Alicia Yap from Citigroup. Please go ahead.
Hi, good evening, management. Thanks for taking my questions. I have a questions on your AIDC business. How does management think about the overall competitive landscape now, and how will that evolve over time? What are the competitive advantage of AliExpress for both the merchants and consumer that will help you defend your market position in some of the important countries? And then a follow-up on that is with Lazada seems to be turning profitable starting in July. Is that a time frame that you target to achieve profitability for AliExpress as well? Thank you.
好，管理层晚上好，感谢接受我的提问。我的问题呢是关于 AIDC 这边想要知道你们当前是如何思考现在的一个竞争的环境，以及竞争环境的一个演化。我们在商家端和消费者端有什么样的一些优势有利于呢我们维护好我们在中央市场的市场地位。那么后续再提问一下，我们就是注意到7月份开始 Lazada 已经开始是有正盈利的，那么 A1 整体 A1 是不是也差不多从这个时候可以开始也是有正盈利的？
对，回答您的问题，首先我觉得阿里巴巴的海外业务我们是由多个业务板块组成的，我们可能跟很多其他公司这种单一的业务模式会有一些差异。那我们在不同的市场有不同的品牌，然后我们也有很多比较非常 local 的本地的团队在运营这些平台。那我们的业务也是由跨境跟本地这样的一个组合。对，那我觉得一方面刚才我也说到，就是我们的业务我们有这个在不同的市场，然后有本地的这样的一个品牌，然后我们也有一些非常有经验的本地团队在运营。那另外就是说我们也是希望能够尽快的更好的可以整合整个阿里集团的供给，尤其来自中国的供给，那也包括来自于淘宝的供给，那也包括来自于1688等平台的一个供给。对，那消费者侧我觉得我们在很多的市场还是有一个非常好的消费者的品牌跟一个非常广泛的一个市场知名度。那我们现在主要做的还是在做一些业务模式的升级跟转型，比如说 AliExpress， 那过去它可能是一个相对效率较低，然后体验服务相对较弱的这样的一个商业模式。那我们现在也在这个业务模式的转型的一个过程中。那刚刚你也提到拉大的盈利，对，那我觉得7月份我们是第一次实现了这个 EBITDA 的一个盈利。那我觉得后面我们还是会根据市场的情况去调整。在这个我们希望能够保持这个市场份额的同时，然后持续的优化我们的这个盈利的水平。那 AliExpress 还处在一个相对早期一点，那因为它的业务模式在从一个平台的一个模式向一个托管加平台模式的一个转型的过程中，那它还处在一个投资期。那我们也在持续的在优化。那比如说刚讲到我们的上个季度，我们也发现我也看到我们整个这个 A Choice 的这个优异的一个优化。那我们接下来的几个季度还是会持续去优化我们的效率，然后同时也追求一个更健康的一个增长。
Thank you. This is Jiang Fan. Well, the first thing I would say is that AIDC, unlike some of the other businesses within the Alibaba Group, comprises a number of different types of businesses. It's not a single business. We're present in many different local markets with local brands in those markets, with local teams operating them. And overall, AIDC is really a combination of both cross-border and local business. So something that we're working on in that broader context of being in different markets with different local brands, local experience, local teams operating them, is we're working on integrating and sharpening our integrating supply, especially supply from China, and sharpening our advantage around product supply out of China. On the consumer side, I think certainly one advantage we have is very good consumer brands with high brand recognition. Certainly also working very hard to enhance the user experience on AE. In the past, AE was perhaps a low efficiency kind of platform that too often offered consumers a relatively poor user experience, but we've been working very hard on improving that. As for Lazada, yes, as you noted, as I said earlier, we were EBITDA positive for the first time for a single month in July of this year, and we'll continue to make adjustments as we have there, while preserving our market share, finding ways to enhance efficiency and increase our profitability. AE Choice is an important model that we've been investing in, and it's taken time to get to where it is. UE continues to optimize in respect of AE Choice, and over the next few quarters to come, we'll continue to make those efforts to drive higher efficiency and achieve high quality growth.
Next question.
The next question is from Thomas Chong from Jefferies. Please go ahead.
Hi, good evening. Thanks management for taking my question. My first question is about Stock Connect. Can management comment about our thoughts about the status of dual primary listing and the chance of going into Stock Connect? And my second question is about our cloud business. Given that we are expecting the cloud as external cloud revenue to back to double-digit growth in the second half of fiscal year and accelerate going forward. I just want to get some color with regard to our AI revenue contribution. What's the goal that we are looking for in the long run coming from AI? Thank you.
好，管理层晚上好，感谢接受我的提问。我第一个问题呢是关于咱们是不是可以呢接入到港股通这个项目，这是在完成这个两地主要上市地位的这个转变之后，是不是可以接入到港股通？第二个问题是关于云这一方面，那么刚才讲到我们预计在本财年的下半年呢，我们来自外部客户的收入可以继续维持在2位数的这样的收入增长。那么其中这个 AI 这一部分的贡献率如何？然后接下来我们对 AI 收入的贡献率有什么样的目标呢？
Okay, Thomas, thank you for your question. I will take the first one, and then Eddie will answer the second question. And regarding your question about the Stock Connect, I guess your question is about the primary conversion at our end. Currently we are actively pursuing Hong Kong primary listing. We will have an AGM on the 22nd of August, so we have a proposal that's subject to the shareholders approve. And then, we are aiming to complete the conversion process, after we obtain approval from the shareholders and get it completed before the end of August. Then, join the Stock Connect. It was still subject to, the different exchanges sort of like, process. So that's, what we understand is procedure, just a procedure to go through. So that's the update on the status.
好，谢谢你的提问，我是 Toby， 我先回答第一部分的问题，那么第二个问题呢，待会儿交给 Eddie 来回答。那么你提到这个是否接入港股通，我想你的问题呢，问的是关于我们在香港转变为主要上市地的这个地位，那么这是我们正在寻求的一种转变。那么实际上在8月22号，我们即将呢召开我们的股东大会。那么现在呢，股东大会那边有这样的提案，那么还是呢需要 广大的股东呢加以批准。那么如果这次股东大会能够予以批准之后的话呢，我们预计可以或者争取在8月底的时候可以完成这个主要上市地的这个转变。那么至于之后如何接入港股通，这个还是得呢去履行各个不同的交易所他们的一些不同的规则下的一些程序。那么这个应该就是按照程序来做，就是可以实现的。
好，那个第二个关于云的问题我来回答一下。我们现在确实看到我们的云的客户对于 AI 相关产品的需求非常旺盛，而且我们现在从客户的 pipeline 角度上看，也还是远远没有满足他们的这个需求。所以我们现在的预期，在我们的外部客户的收入在财年的下半年回到2位数增长，这个预测还是比较明确。那我们这里面的 AI 产品相关的贡献的收入，其实从数据上来看，我们会看到大部分的增长，大部分的增速其实是来自于 AI 产品的相关产品的增速。因为我们现在一方面行业也看到了，就是说整体这个行业以 CPU 为核心的传统的云计算市场的增速现在还是比较有限。那大量的客户的新增的 IT 需求基本上是集中在以 GPU 为核心的 AI 相关的这些产品上面，所以我们的增速的带动大部分还是应该超过一半以上吧，都是来自于我们的相关的 AI 产品带来的营收的增长带来的。
Thank you. This is Eddie. I'll take your second question about cloud. There's a very, very robust demand among our customers for AI and AI relevant products. And if you look at the pipeline, you can see that demand is still far from being satisfied. So we think it's a very clear-cut trend that revenue from external customers will achieve double-digit growth in the second half of the fiscal year. In terms of the breakdown of that AI product revenue, in terms of the revenue, probably most of that growth will be driven by AI products. If you look at the industry as a whole, demand for CPU-based traditional cloud computing is relatively limited, where most of the growth is now focused on GPU-based AI product development. So I would say something like more than half of that expected growth will be driven by AI products.
Next question, please.
Thank you. The next question is from Ellie Jiang from Macquarie. Please go ahead.
Thanks so much, management, for taking my question. Just first of all, a quick follow-up on the prior cloud question. Obviously, we are already showing some early indicators of the positive momentum, and the management shared about the strong demand on AI. Given the current kind of macro conditions and softened enterprise demand into the second half, just can you comment on kind of the mixed impact, especially in the next several quarters? And then also the second question is on the Taobao Tmall GMV reacceleration. So we're encouraged to see our overall GMV momentum catching up, and actually for the second quarter we already caught up to the industry pace reported by NBS. Wondering, can management comment on the key drivers behind the GMV reacceleration, and anything you can really talk on the return rate that we've been seeing across the ecosystem? Thank you.
管理层晚上好，我提两个问题。第一个问题是就着刚才讲的云这一板块后市在提问，我们确实看到初步的一些迹象表明这一方面有非常积极正向的发展势头有很强劲的需求。但是我想就是结合宏观面我们看到宏观经济数据以及可能企业需求疲软，这些会给云带来什么样的影响？第二个问题 呢是关于淘天集团这一方面。那么我们注意到现在GMV 的这个增速呢已经是迎头赶上了与这个国家统计局公布的大盘的这个增速是重新匹配起来了。那么想要知道在这一方面有什么样的这个因素在起作用？
关于云的问题，我先来回答吧。我们现在看到的就是您想问的是关于现在的宏观经济条件下企业的需求放缓，是吧？对，但是我们实际上看到的大部分的企业在于，尤其是在我们云上的客户而言，他们在今年在新的 AI 方面的需求的预算，其实在今年其实比去年扩大了不少。因为对于大部分基于数字化的企业来说，这个需求是必须投入的，对于 AI 的需求是必须投入的需求。也就是这个方面因为所有的行业都在用 AI 来提升本身行业的产品能力或者产品效率的过程当中，我们看到对数字化非常依赖的行业和企业对这方面的投入基本上是总体上是不会降低的。因为你在这方面的投入落后，有可能会在产品上的能力上也会相对行业会变得落后。所以我们看到这方面的需求还是非常的明显，而且也没有下降的趋势。因为这个是一个纯新的我们觉得是一个非常新的行业趋势吧。
Thanks. This is Eddie. I'll take the first question that had to do with cloud. Look, I think your question had to do with how macroeconomic conditions are resulting in softening enterprise demand, but that's not at all what we're seeing. What we see certainly among our own cloud customers is that their AI budgets for this year are higher, significantly higher than what they were last year. Any enterprise that is digitalized and relies on digitalization must be investing. It simply has to be investing in AI. All the industries now that are using AI are leveraging it to enhance their competitiveness and efficiency. So any enterprise that's in any way digitally reliant will certainly not scale down its investment in AI, because to do so would impair their own competitiveness and efficiency. So that's a clear trend that we're seeing, and we're not seeing any kind of slowdown or softening.
好，您说的那个关于第二个问题，就淘宝天猫的 GMV 的这个增速的回升的势头，这个问题其实是一个我们整体来说最核心的，还是回到我们总体的一个淘宝天猫的一个业务战略上的。那业务战略上，我们最主要的就像我们之前所说的，我们最重要的投资是投资在好商品和好价格、好服务的体验建设上。那这个是一个我觉得是在我们电商里面最基本的一些用户体验上的投资。那对我们来说，对淘宝天猫这个平台而言，特殊之处的话，我们觉得可能因为淘宝天猫的商品供给非常丰富，而服务的消费者人群也非常复杂，所以对我们来说是这个好货好价和好服务是分成不同的，我们对于消费者会分成不同的需求的层次，通过对于消费者需求的分层的需求去切分不同的商品供给，切分不同的服务体验，以及不同的商品供给下，我们要用不同的产品形态或者不同的那个产品能力去让他们能够在服务我们不同的消费者。所以总体来说，你可以理解为最根本的还是好商品、好价格、好服务。但是对淘宝来说，我们要针对不同人提供在这个3个维度不同的体验，以及在这个3个维度不同的体验背后，我们要通过供应链的优化，怎么样去持续的提升这个好货好价好服务的这个持续的优化吧。好。
As to your second question on the recovery in GMV growth rate at TTG, I think really this comes down to our overall strategy for the Taobao and Tmall group, where the most important thing we're investing in is the underlying capabilities that allow us to deliver quality products and quality services at attractive prices. And those really are the most basic parts of the user experience when it comes to e-commerce. Now, if you look at TTG, we have an extremely rich and diverse product assortment and also a very complex, multifaceted user base. So it's important for us to segment those consumers and to make available to them different kinds of product supply and different kinds of service experience to cater to that diverse range of needs of those different segments. And so that requires us to develop different kinds of supply capabilities for those different consumer segments. And underlying all of that is our ongoing investment in optimizing supply chains and supply chain efficiency in order to be able to ensure we have quality products and quality services at attractive prices for those different consumer tiers.
我来回答一下您刚关于那个第二个问题里面关于的退货率的问题啊。首先的话，整个中国电商行业的退货率都在上涨，包括我们也包括所有电商的平台。那我们的退货率在目前还是略低于整个行业的平均水平的，这第一点。第二点，我们觉得或者我们认为，退货体验是消费者体验当中十分重要的一部分，是留住消费者的一个重要环节。所以呢，当我们看到消费者的留存率、购买频次、购物体验的反馈，其实随着一些退货体验的提升都得到了改善的时候，我们相对来说我们觉得这是一个健康的。那么我们也特别观察到，在这个 NPS 就是净推荐指数里面，在我们的平台特别是中高端的用户今年是持续向好的，这里面也是反映了对于售后服务包括退货的这样一个便利度的一个满意度的提升。那么因为我们的退货率现在在整个市场来看，在整个行业来看，我们还是略低于行业平均水平的，所以我们从退货率的上涨，我们并不特别担心会影响商家在我们平台的投放的这样一个意愿。
Thanks. This is Toby, and I'll take that other question about return rates. Purchase return rates are increasing across the industry as a general trend. But in the case of Alibaba, our return rate is slightly lower than the industry average. The second thing I would say is that the return experience is a very important part of customer experience overall. And when the consumer has a good experience around returns, that's going to be favorable for increasing retention and purchase frequency. And I think it's important to note that on our platform this year, if you look at Net Promoter Score, NPS, especially among mid and high tier consumers, our NPS has improved considerably. So again, our return rate is slightly lower than the overall market average, and I certainly don't think that that's going to discourage merchants from investing and doing business on our platform.
Next question.
Thank you. The next question is from Gary Yu from Morgan Stanley. Please go ahead.
Hi, good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to ask questions. My question is regarding management comment about some of these loss-making business aiming to reach break even in the next 1 to 2 years. Could management share more detail in terms of individual segments, including local services, AIDC, as well as most of the retail business under the all other segment? How should we look at the timing of kind of break even target in the next 1 to 2 years individually? Thank you.
感谢管理层接受我的提问。管理层说，我们现在很多的亏损业务预计呢在1-2年之内可以实现盈亏持平。那么想要知道能不能就是分解来讲不同的分布，比如说本地生活，或者是比如说 AIDC 里面不同的这些业务，大概在1-2年的时间里面，什么时候可以实现这个盈亏持平
？Okay, thank you, Gary. I'll take that question. I think what Eddie and I was explaining is except for Taobao and Tmall, that sort of like the core businesses we mentioned previously, including Taobao, Tmall Cloud, and the AIDC, all the other businesses, some of those businesses are still loss-making at this stage, and they will be ramping up their efficiency and monetization, and sort of reduce their losses significantly in the next year or so, 1 or 2 years, and to reach break even. And then afterwards, they will sort of like start to deliver a scalable sort of profitability going forward. How we are going to achieve that? It's quite as I was explaining. What we want those businesses are do. They need to, on one hand, care about the efficiency of the investment they are making. Balance the scale and the efficiency, which is very important. Secondly, on one hand, that they are making investment, they also need to care more about the monetization. So it's critical to enhance the monetization rate, using their business model. So with both more income and the sort of higher efficiency in the spending, they are moving towards the break even and profitability. We can clearly see, as during my prepared remarks, I explained that I used 2 examples. One is a local service, and the other one is Lazada. I think Jiang Fan explained the Lazada. For local service, I think it's all about, on one hand, you need to increase the scale, i.e. you need to increase the order. But on the other hand, you need to improve the unit economics. For example, in Ele.me's case, it's all about its sort of like a meal delivery business, improve the unit economics continuously. And then in AMAP, I think it's all about, for example, the ride-hailing businesses per order unit economics need to improve. So with both scale and efficiency improve, we are we are able to reducing the losses very significantly and moving towards the profitability. So I think this is pretty much how this business will execute and move towards profitability.
好的，我是 Toby。我想前面我和 Eddie 讲的意思就是，除了淘宝、天猫、云、AIDC 这些核心的业务之外你综合其他的业务，那么有一部分还是在亏损之中。那么接下来他们会就是大幅提升他们的效率大力推动商业化，那么以此呢能够缩小亏损，大概在这个1-2年之内预计可以实现盈亏平衡。盈亏平衡以后呢，他们可以逐步的来为集团呢这个带来规模化的盈利贡献。那如何实现这一点？那么首先就是这些业务它要进一步的投资于提升经营效率要平衡呢规模与效率，这种平衡非常的重要。第二点，它要更多的关注商业化率的问题，就是说它投资它花钱要提高它的效率同时要提高它的商业化率，这样可以走向盈亏平衡最终是正盈利。那么在我刚才的发言中，我就是提到2个例子，一个是本地生活，一个是 Lazada。那么蒋凡也是解释了Lazada 这些计划。就本地生活而言，需要提高规模，提高订单量，同时要改善U1。像饿了么就是典型的例子，它是一个全新的这样一个业务模式，那么现在要逐步的改善它的 U1。那么高德里面的这个轿车服务同样也需要提高它的 U1。那么当规模与效率两方面都得到改善以后呢，这些公司这些业务相信它是可以呢大幅降低它的亏损，来走向正盈利。
Next question, please.
Thank you. The next question is from Jiong Shao from Barclays. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much for taking my question. My question is about the gap between CMR and GMV. It's great you achieved high single digit for GMV growth this quarter. The gap between the two appears to be high single digit as well. Is that a high watermark going forward? Especially you recently launched the 全站通, and especially when you start to charge a technology service fee starting in September. Any comments would be great. And related to that, I think Toby talked about 0.6% of GMV for the technology fees, but some of the smaller merchants, you're going to waive that. I was wondering, is that sort of a net number in terms of percentage of GMV you think the technology service fees will bring to CMR? Any clarification would be great. Thank you.
好的，我提的问题呢，还是关于 CMR 和 GMV 两者之间的差距。那么非常好，本季度呢 GMV 的这个增速呢是达到了高的单位数，但是呢看来呢 CMR 与 GMV 之间的差额也是在高的单位数这样一个水平。那么请问这是不是一个可能的是以后我们会看到的一个最高的这样一个水位啊？接下来我们推出全站推，我们还开始收取技术服务费。那么 Toby 讲到这个技术服务费的话呢，是按照 GMV 的6%来收的，但是有一些小商家他们可以豁免。那我们应该怎么来理解这个就是6%？是不是说这个总体 GMV 就会按照这样一个 0.6 的数字来贡献未来的这个 CMR 呢？还是应该怎么思考这个问题？
Okay, thank you for the question. I'll take that. I think, as previously, Eddie, also in my prepared remarks, I think the gap between the GMV, online GMV and CMR, reflect actually the job of the take rate. Why the take rate job? Because currently, some of the new models with a very high growth in GMV currently still have relatively low monetization, which will be ramped up in the next a few quarters, if you like. So that's why there's still a gap. As we also said, in the next few quarters, CMR growth will be at the same pace with GMV, which means take rate will start to get relatively stabilized. So that's what sort of we expecting. And Eddie explained why GMV is currently, grow faster than the take rate. The reason is because by executing our strategy, we first need to invest in the consumers, get the more sort of purchase frequency from the consumers, then get the GMV growth. And as soon as we start to observe the GMV back to growth, and then the market share becomes stabilizing, we will gradually ramp up the monetization sort of like a pace. A few things we're doing, Eddie explained 全站推, which is currently be rolling out. The penetration into traffic will take a number of quarters, so that will certainly improve the take rate, which means will accelerate the CMR growth. And secondly, with this software service fee charge will also help on on the sort of like the take rate. A few other sort of like measures as well. So these are all the things currently we're doing. Why we started to do it, because we see the growth are back on the GMV, and we see the sign of stabilizing, the market share. And then your question about how it is calculated for this 0.6 charge. It's on the completed transaction, completed GMV. So it's charged on the completed GMV. However, we will refund, back to some of the small and medium merchants if their annual GMV is below certain threshold.
那么其实 Eddie 也讲过这个问题，我在发言中呢，也是讲到过这个问题。你来看 GMV 与 CMR 的增速之差，那么其实反映的呢是我们的 take rate 有所下降。那么为什么会这样呢？是因为呢我们GMV 增速最快的一些业务，恰恰就是商业化率比较低的这些业务。那么接下来几个季度呢，我们会逐步的来提升，但是目前来讲确实还是有这样的一个差距存在。那么刚才我们也讲到，就是接下来几个季度呢，我们认为 CMR 的增速会和 GMV 的这个增速匹配起来，同步起来，也就是说 take rate 会相对呢就是趋于稳定。那么刚才 Eddie 解释说，我们呢是一直投资于呢这个消费者的体验我们提高它的这个购买频次，那么从此呢可以带动 GMV 的增长。那么随着我们市场份额呢趋于稳定以后，我们可以加快提高商业化。那么刚才 Eddie 还介绍说，我们这个全站推的这个推广与普及会需要几个季度来到位，那么这也会加快我们 CMR 的一个增长。另外呢我们说到开始收取呢技术服务费，这也会有利于呢提高我们的take rate。那么为什么现在开始这样做呢？因为我们看到迹象，就是说我们 GMV 的增速是恢复了，那么市场份额呢也是趋于稳定了。那么至于你说的具体如何计算技术服务费，这个会根据呢交易完成的 GMV这个规模来计算，但是有些这个GMV 没有达到既定额度的这个小商家，我们会给他们退款。
Next question.
Thank you. The next question is from Kenneth Fong from UBS. Please go ahead.
Hi, good evening, management. Thanks for taking my question. I have one question mainly on the financial number. One is on the tax rate. Notice that the effective tax rate is quite high for the current quarter. Can management explain what's the rationale behind and how should we model the tax expense going forward? And the other thing is about the decline, 56% decline in our free cash flow. Understand that it is related to our investment on AI cloud as well as some one-off expenses or with cash flow on the planned reduction on direct sales business. Should we expect that to gradually normalize in the next 1 or 2 quarters, especially for the direct sales business part? Thank you.
好，谢谢。我提的第一个问题呢，就是说本季度注意到我们的税率，交税的税率比较高，那么这个怎么理解？然后未来我们在做模型的时候，应该怎么来算这个税率的事情？第二，就是本季度自由现金流这个下降，我们理解是因为我们在投资于AI， 投资于云，还有呢我们在故意减少一些直营的业务，但是未来我们应该怎么来考虑自由现金流呢？
Thank you, Kenneth. I will take this question. Your first question is about tax rate, because if you're using our P&L's tax divided by profit, you normally cannot reach the real effective tax rate, because we do have a lot of, if you like, permanent differences, one-off items which does not have tax implication there. We are monitoring more on an adjusted basis on the tax rate, which is relatively stable in this quarter compared with last quarter. But in terms of your model, I guess probably we can, our team can sort of look into your model and sort of communicate offline. So this is your first question.
关于第一个问题就是关于税率。如果说你是拿这个损益表这个税除以利润，那么通常的话呢，这个是看不出真正实际的这个税率，因为呢我们有些永久性的差异。那么税率的话呢，我们是一直在监测的，那么应该说本季度呢与上一季度来比还是相对稳定的。但是就你们这个怎么建模呢，我想我们也可以这个会后私下我们可以沟通一下，这是第一个问题。
我们是用一个调整后的这样一个考虑这样一个税率的影响的我补充一下。Okay, your second question is about free cash flow. As I explained, there's quite big significant drop of free cash flow. One of the reason is the significant increase in the expenditure on the AI infrastructure investments, if you like. So I think, and the other reason, as I said, is because of the because of the working capital changes in relation to some factors like some of the business scale jobs. For these business scale jobs, many of them, if you like, a majority of them are from those planned scale down, if you like. As I was explaining why our direct sales business within Taobao and Tmall dropped quite significantly. The reason is we proactively scale down some of these 1P businesses in Taobao and Tmall. The reason is we believe in some of these business or categories, 1P format probably is not a more efficient format. So that's sort of proactive. But you will also have some of the businesses, scale drop was not because proactively did that. Some of it is just like the overall market, situation. For example, as I said, the revenue dropped from, for example, like Sunna, like InTime, all those businesses are in 1P, and the drop of their scale actually impacts the working capital. I don't know, probably I can give a little bit more color on, because for doing 1P business, on one hand, you are buying inventory from vendor. On the other hand, you sell it. And the vendor normally give you a credit term like in 60 days or 90 days. If you can make your inventory turnover, i.e. sell the inventory within a short period of time, shorter than the sort of a credit term you are given, actually you are generating cash flow. Particularly if the size is going up, you are generating positive cash flow. So on the contrary, if you are reducing the scale, it will have outflow on the working capital. But is this a permanent impact? To me, I think this is a relatively temporary impact. During the process of reducing the scale, we will see this outflow. But when the business size became stable, we will no longer see this type of outflow.
Very clear. Thank you very much.
对，这是关于这个现金流自由现金流下降。那么一方面，当然了，我们是在 AI 方面做投资，另一方面呢，就是有营运资金方面的变化，这是由于有些业务的业务规模这个缩小。那么其中有些业务规模缩小，这是我们计划中故意来缩小它的规模。 比如说我们在淘宝、天猫上面的一些直营业务，这是我们主动的一个选择。我们为什么选择缩小它的规模呢？是因为我们相信在这些业务当中，EP模式未必是效率更高的。另外有些业务规模缩小并不是我们主动的选择，而是大的市场的一个表现，比如说Sonart InTime，那么这些也会影响到这个营运资金。另外我也可以展开介绍一下，就是说在这些零售业务当中，往往的话呢，你这个从供应商那里这个采购买货，你可能有60天或者是90天的这样一个支付期，那么这个其实可以为你带来呢正的一个现金流。那么如果这样的业务这个规模缩小的话呢，就等于是营运基金的某种流出但是这种影响是暂时的那么等到这个业务规模稳定了以后呢，就不再会有这种流出的存在。
Next question.
Thank you. The next question is from James Lee from Mizuho. Please go ahead.
Great. Thanks for taking my question here. My question relating to AI, more big picture question for you guys. Can you guys talk about maybe implication of open source large language model, or how that impact the adoption of AI in China? And also, how should we think about large language model as that transition into agents, and how do we think the use cases may change for your merchants and customers? Thank you.
好，我提的问题是关于 AI 方面，想要了解一下，就是开源的大模型可能给你们这个产品在中国采用和普及带来什么影响？另外想了解，当这个大模型转换成为这个代理 agent 的时候，又会带来什么样的不同？
您的这个问题很好，我来回答一下吧。就是第一个问题，我觉得是在这一轮的生成式 AI 里面，就是开源闭源一直都是大家不同公司选择的方向嘛。但是对于阿里云而言，我们选择的，因为我们的业务模式是更多的是提供一个云的基础设施，那我们提供一个业界一流的开源的模型，对于中国以及整个世界上的这些开发者其实都会非常有帮助，因为大部分的开发者还是希望对这个模型更有可控性，能够更具备它有更多的调优的这些空间。所以某种程度上，我们觉得开源的模型会在开发者的广泛使用上这一点上占据优势。而开发者广泛使用的话，这一点对于阿里云这样提供 AI 基础设施的公司来说，这个商业模式就特别匹配。因为当更多的开发者会更多的使用我们的开源模型的时候，他自然也会因为在把它的应用上线的时候，自然会优先选择阿里云的 AI， 这个采用阿里云的 AI 产品。所以这个是和我们的商业策略是匹配的。而且我们现在也看到非常多的公司或者非常多的开发者在选择的时候，开源模型是会成为他们的一个优先选择的一个方向。那尤其是在中国吧，因为中国的非常多的环境，它需要非常多的应用，它需要更强的可控性。但是这一点我现在没办法提供一个非常强的一个数据说，有多少开发者因为使用了我们的开源模型，所以来选择我们的阿里云的 AI 服务。但是我们觉得这个是在中国市场上，我们是唯一一家提供开源模型且同时提供 AI 云服务的厂商。我觉得这个两个商业策略是完全匹配的。然后另外你提的一个问题，我觉得比较复杂和远期吧，因为这个问题你提的也比较宽泛。我觉得总体来说，未来的大模型的能力其实也会越来越强吧。一个 一个模型会它所使用的数据会越来越多模态，然后同时这个模型的参数规模也会越来越大，所以它能做的事情也会越来越强。但是现在我们也确实看到，在解决一些复杂性的问题上，我们会看到很多都会需要通过 agent 这种方式来解决一些复杂的推理问题，而且可能会这些 agent 还会调用不同的模型来解决这个一个复杂的推理过程。所以我觉得这个趋势也是一个非常明显。但是我们还有一个，现在是也很多开发者在做这些 agent 嘛，但是我自己有一个判断，可能这些 agent 也会越来越多的，未来有这些能力足够强的大模型来产生这些 agent， 能够会更加的自动化。
Thank you. Well, on your first question, in this recent wave of generative AI development, different companies have made different choices around whether to develop open or closed source models. Alibaba Cloud is itself a cloud service provider. So the clear choice for us has been to develop open source large language models. That's very helpful, of course, for developers. Developers want more control. They want more scope to optimize. So we feel that providing open source large language model to developers is advantageous for them. And that, of course, very much fits into our own strategy because we are a cloud service provider. So it's doubly advantageous. They can develop their offerings using our open source models, and then they're very likely to continue to select Alibaba to deploy those offerings at scale. So that's entirely consistent with our strategy. As for the idea of agents, models are becoming larger, more and more multimodal, with more and more parameters becoming stronger and more capable. And so there will be a need for agents, I think, to deal with some of the more complex needs around inferencing, especially agents that can call on different underlying large models. I know lots of developers are working on it. But I think going into the future, this kind of development will become more automated.
Let's open to the last question.
Thank you. The last question is from Yusuf Squali from Trust. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much. That's Yusuf Squali from Truist. So just on the follow-up on the AI question, one, if I look at your CapEx, it's more than doubled year on year in Q1. Number one, is that a good run rate to work off of for the rest of the year? And number two, as you look at the return on those investments, can you help us just understand your framework of reference? One of the key questions we often get here, at least in the U.S., is the ROI associated with these AI and kind of the timeline or the time or framework around which you kind of expect these investments to start bearing fruit, and maybe give us examples of where you're seeing early green shoots. Thank you.
好，这是最后一个问题啊。我的问题还是关于 AI 这一方面的。那么就是我们看到你们的资本开支啊，这个应该是翻了一番还多啊。那么想要知道本财年剩下的时间，这是不是一个合理的收入运行率，还会继续是这样子下去的吗？那么第二个问题就是说，在美国我们经常会谈到这种投资的一个投资回报率，这个 ROI。那么你们认为你们在AI 方面这些 CapEx 什么时候会开始带来真正的投资回报或者说在哪些领域当中我们已经开始看到有所萌芽呢
Okay, I will take the first question, and Eddie will answer the second question. I think with respect to the capex, just like as you have observed from our reporting, increased very significantly. I think the reason is because we see clearly very strong demand, and the backlog. That's why we are investing. We would expect in the next few quarters, we would expect similar level of investments in capex going forward.
是 Toby， 我先回答第一个问题。对，这是我们的这个资本开支 capex 方面，如您所观察，我们这是大幅的提高了。为什么会这样？那是因为我们清楚的看到对这一方面有非常强劲的需求，而且有很多积压着的需求，所以我们认为接下来几个季度，同样我们还是会继续按照这样子的一个水平继续来做我们的投资。
好，你后面这个问题我来回答一下。我觉得现在我们在，就像 Toby 刚才所说的，我们在后面几个季度关于 AI capex 投资的话，会延续现在这个节奏，因为我们现在看到客户的需求非常旺盛，包括客户的 pipeline 以及现在还是远远没有到满足的阶段。那从我们客户对于AI 的我们的产品在训练、推理以及像通义千问的这样 API 调用这方面的需求都在快速增长。从某种程度上，我们这些 capex 的投入，我们现在从我们内部的角度上来看，我们只要我们的服务器上架，基本上这些服务器就会满载的被客户使用。所以实际上这些 capex 投入在最近的几个季度之内，我们都会看到他们的投资回报率是非常可观的，而且实际上他们的空置率是非常有限。他们现在基本上大部分的算力，我们在一开始上架之后就会产生收入，而且基本上比较满负荷的开始产生收入。
Thanks. This is Eddie. So to continue with the second part of this answer, so certainly, as Toby said, over the next several quarters, we expect to continue to be investing in AI capex at that kind of pace, and it's simply because we see a lot of demand, a lot of unmet demand from many clients, and you look at the pipeline those clients have, there's going to be ongoing demand. So whether it's for training or inference or API calls. What we see when we're making these kind of capex investments is as soon as we get a server up, that server is essentially instantly running at full capacity. There's that kind of demand. So we can expect to see a very high ROI over these next quarters because we're building compute power to meet existing demand. And that new compute power coming online is getting instantly taken up and running at full capacity from day one.
Well, thank you everyone for joining. We will see you next quarter.
Thank you. That does conclude our conference for today. Thank you for participating. You may now disconnect.